You're listening to the AZREIA Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from AZREIA, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
All right, so in that deal, so we're not gonna. We could always include an introduction.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
So it's 11:15.
So we just chatting, guys. By the way, me and Mike just kicking back, just
There you go.
chatting about what's going on with us.
So sometime I forgot where we were gonna go with that, but so there's a wholesaler that, so when you're direct to seller on a contract, we have our pricing, right? And sometimes it's either add on top, or sometimes maybe you're able to work someone into your fee, work them a fee, right? So we had a situation where we had our price out on the market, and Michaela was like, "Hey, net us X, and we'll work you into our deal," kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she had an appointment set with her buyer to show the buyer at the 259, and they're like, "Cool, liked everything, whatever, just want to walk it." And then so she gave the other person some margin. So coincidentally, that person reached out to the same buyer, right?
Yep.
And said they can get it lower at. So they offered the buyer their net price that we told them that we would.
When you guys already had that same buyer.
So now the buyer's confused. Like, this person wholesaler is cheaper than you guys, but you know what I mean. So what happened is then the other wholesaler, don't believe me, screenshotted the text of Michaela and the wholesaler saying, "Look, they're willing to give it to me at X," but what they're doing is they're cutting themselves out
right.
of the picture, just so they're trying to get the buyer to go with them by showing Michaela's text, which Michaela and I are the contract holders,
right?
You know what I mean? So where does all that means that it's like low barrier to entry. Like, people are new, right? And it's showing what Phoenix is, as there's not a lot of properties.
Yep.
And I was also looking at another major wholesaler who had like all these properties on his list, all at his price. And then because I always comb through all the wholesale deals, and every wholesaler all had the same copy paste of this person's pretty much they're getting majority of their deals on their list are from this main person, and their prices are all higher and all at different prices and stuff like that. So there's not a lot of deals out there, right? And there's buyers out there there's still buyers out there. So there's like very limited deals circulating with all the same buyers.
Right.
So all these buyers are probably just like, who can I get it from the cheapest?
Yep.
It's just no point to this, but besides the person not knowing what they're doing.
and you know what's happening in a lot of these, I just say in the real estate industry period, when it comes to like off market stuff, is that the relationships are really coming into play. Like, a lot of the deals that I'm getting are from people that I've helped do deals in the past, or people that I've done deals with in the past. When they say, "Hey, you know what, I'm in this market, I know you're in this market, can you find a buyer here?" Doing deals like that. Or it's previous homeowners that we bought their houses, flipped, or wholesale their houses before.
Okay, while we're talking, yes, exactly. So this can be like the other guy that shared the text.
Right.
So what you're going to want to do is say the traditional stuff, $5K, non-refundable.
I'm talking about the guy from yesterday. The reason why is because I called him, and he was like, "Yeah, we can still see it today." He never mentioned the 250 or anything.
So is it just pre-qual the situation?
I did. I asked him yesterday. I said, "Are we still good for today? You still want to see it?"
And what did he say?
He said, "My partner's going to be there." And that's when I was like,
Okay, so
I'm wondering if he's like the whole.
as long as you're
As long as it's net 250 to you guys.
net, is he ready to open up escrow once we're done walking the property, go to the bank, $5K, non-refundable, wire, cashier's check, just put the ball in their court.
Okay.
That's all you can really do.
Okay. So I just responded to the guy. He said he wants to walk it today.
Cool.
He said, "If I can walk it today, I'm a contractor. I just need to walk it."
And that's the guy we just talked about, meet me in the middle.
Yes.
Okay.
Meet me in the middle guy.
Got it.
There
And
you
you're on
go.
the podcast, so gotcha.
Yep, it's live. We just
We're live, right?
so guys, this is live deals that we're talking about. right now.
Gotcha, Michaela. See? Funny, right? So like,
Yeah.
and that's another play right there. Is like, so Michaela's going back and forth on a deal she's trying to sell, and people try. It's all negotiation. They're negotiating before they even see the property.
Yep.
So like this situation right here, we have it at $259. You got to help me on price. You got to help me on price.
Mhm.
Me, I'm always like, you ain't even seen the
You
property
ain't
yet.
even seen the property.
Why are we
wouldn't
talking
you-
price? Whatever, they already did what they did. They're in their situation that they're doing, fine. So it's like, now it's like, hey, that's why I was like, yo, meet me in the middle. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he got what he wanted, but we're still not dropping. But that's what I would have done. Like,
And that's what happens, right? Is because these buyers they trying to get a deal too. So before they even walk these properties, they say exactly what he said. Hey, you know what? I've done a deal in the area before. I already know the numbers. Help me out on the price, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do and my team does is, you know what? I can't help you out on the price until you go and walk this property, and then maybe we can have that discussion. But I got other people that's going to walk this property also.
Yeah.
So if you're serious, go and walk the property. Here's the lockbox code. Get back to me and let's talk.
yeah, like every second matters. It's because once they're like you got to put out your property. Like, we want $259. That's the wholesale price. That is a
Right.
good price.
That is a good deal.
Like that's
Yeah.
the deal. Come and see it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Then you get never lit up in the beginning until you need to.
Yep.
So
And that was one of my biggest problems when I first started, man, is I was so anxious just to get the deal done to where I was really just negotiating against myself, right? It was like
that's all you're doing.
somebody would call and be like, yep, I like it, but I need help on the price. All right. I immediately drop $3,000. Like, why are you dropping $3,000? They ain't even say how much help they need or, if they walk the property or anything like that. And you got to validate them as a true buyer.
Yep. Everyone, what's Grant Cardone say? Sell or be sold.
Yep.
Like
sell or be
every
sold.
second, someone's trying to get one over, right?
Yep.
So be sharp out there.
There you
So
go. There
I'm,
you go.
I'm gonna pick out some random questions for you, Marcus.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see. What platform has helped you find your best tenants?
Platform that helped me find my best tenants.
If there even is one. Doesn't
Yeah,
have
I
to be.
mean, I use my property managers now, but even with them, and that's one thing you got to be careful with, right? When you hire a property manager, you got to make sure they got all of the tools that they need to help you with your property, right? Some of these property managers, they'll come in and they'll say, well, this is what we do. This is how we structure stuff. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. That may work for them, but that may not work for you. Because I'm a in the trenches guy, so like, although I haven't met all of my tenants, like I know their names and I know kind of the situations because I always have my property managers. Hey, give me the backstory on these people. I don't want to just look at a paper and just qualify them based on their credit score and everything like that. But let me get to know a little bit about them. So even with my property managers, I think the best platform to help me with tenants, honestly, man, is Facebook groups. Like we post our rentals in certain community Facebook groups and just get the conversation going. And then people will say, okay, well, how can I apply? Then they get the link for applying and everything like that. So it's simple marketing, man. You just got to put it out there and start marketing.
Yeah, everything. Because even we had some, like I've mentioned before, some units that were slow to rent, even here in Phoenix, which sounds crazy, but things slowed down a bit. So any type of way you can get attention. So we had affordablehousing.com, we had Zillow, you could do MLS, even though we always talk about how we don't use MLS, but any way you can get attention on your properties, right? Facebook groups, that's all great, man. So what do you pay a
Wait, let me turn the question back on you. Okay. So that property that you had, that you couldn't get rented, or if it's still unrented, what are you guys doing right now to either get it rented, or what did you do to get it rented?
Okay, so we obviously the tough part was over the holidays was like when we put it out, right?
Okay.
So it actually 2 units went vacant in the same building. So we put it out high because we're getting max rents from Section 8 or whatever we were doing at the time. 2 people leave, and then it's just like crickets. So we went from 1,100 to 1,000 to 900. We actually had to drop price.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
all, with no fans. I didn't do any of the first month's free stuff or get a TV, but literally it just came to price.
Okay.
But then what we started noticing was an uptick out of nowhere. Just a couple months into it, it was just like, I don't know what it was, man. What phase people are going through or what, but I really didn't do anything different. We had an affordable housing in Zillow, and then what we would do is just walk them through our process, go check out the property, we'll do a credit check, and da-da-da. So that's the only place we self-manage.
Okay, so
our
you
system
guys
helps.
self-manage.
Yeah.
As far as like the credit check, how do you guys do that? Because I know there's different services and stuff like that. So how do you do it?
We do everything through Rent Perfect. So
Rent Perfect,
so if you're an AZREIA member, you get access and a discount to Rent Perfect. They do a high quality background check, and it's like a one-stop system where it's just like you log in, you create an account, the tenant, you can send a link to the potential tenant, they fill out, they pay for it, the money goes to the credit checking. We don't get any of that. It's like $44 or something, and then you get a report back, you make your decision, then you click another button and it sends them the lease. And actually David Pickram of Rent Perfect will be at Garrick's Landlord group this Thursday.
Okay.
Not that by the time people listen to this, but
Yeah.
the first Thursday of every month, Garrick does the buy and hold landlord group. So, and he'll be a guest.
Okay, good resources.
Yeah,
right
for sure,
there.
man. Like, so okay, so how much you pay your property managers?
10%. So
10%.
10% of the rent, and they get the first month.
Oh yeah.
First month's rent. You know, so in essence, when we get it rented, I don't get anything until month 2.
Got it. And if the tenant happens to leave in this beginning period, like a month, they just disappear.
They re-rent the property, but I don't have to pay the lease fee.
What's the biggest thing you learned becoming a landlord?
Leverage resources, man. That was the biggest thing, because my rental properties are in Illinois, and for a while I was flying back and forth, right, just to keep my eyes on the property. Although I got family and everything back there, but then I had a situation where one of my tenants set the freaking garage on fire at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
And he called me and was like, "Hey, what do I do?" I said, "What do you mean? What do? You call the freaking fire department."
Why? How do you live? How to get on fire?
It's in a rural area, and he was out there like burning leaves, and then he left, thought the fire was out, and then kind of the garage was vinyl and plywood, so it just caught.
Oh yeah.
And I ended up. So what happened with that property, right, was got the insurance money, was getting ready to re-put the garage up, and he came into a windfall of money, I think from like a lawsuit or something like that. And I was looking to sell the property anyway. So I told him, I said, "Hey, you know what? I'll finance the property for you. I'll do a seller finance. I'll finance the property for you if you want to buy it." And I was telling him, young black guy, I was telling him the importance of home ownership, building equity, getting the tax benefits, the depreciation, all of that kind of stuff. So really educating them, right? So landlords, sometimes if you have these relationships with your tenants, try and educate them, along the process. So educated him on that, and he gave me $17K down. This was probably like 8 years ago. He gave me like $17K down. A property was worth like 85, something like that. So he gave me $17K down. Then I had a note, still have a note on it for, I think it's 20 years, something like that. And he told me, don't worry about putting up the garage, because he drives rigs. So he was going to put up a big pole barn for his truck. So I ended up able to keep the insurance money from the garage, redid the vinyl siding on the back side of the house because of the heat, kind of melted that. And so I made out. I mean, just in that, got the $17K from him, plus it was like another $35K on the garage. So what's that? That's $52.
Nice.
So made out with like $52,000 check, and then I just rolled that money into another unit.
It's cool how things work out. So did they ever pay you off yet, or do they still pay you?
Still paying.
Still paying.
A little inconsistent, but again, trying to help the guy out. I mean, he's current. It's just that, hey, you know what, I might get $100 in 3 months versus every month, 250 every month, right? So I'm like, 250 is not going to kill me if I don't get it, each month. That's just me being, kind of a softie, but he's always made good on it.
It's like, as long as there's communication,
yeah,
right? And that's what we were just talking about in the other podcast. It was like, right, just being human, just talking to people. And if they're communicating, they're working hard, and they're good for it, it's okay, man. You don't have to be all cutthroat. All right, I'm gonna get you another question.
Yeah, so we did the seller finance on that. That was my first ever seller finance deal. Where I was the lender.
Did you buy a course, and did you
get
a coach and figure it all out? How'd you figure it out?
I did, man. I just figured it out. I knew, so the house was free and clear. So I was like, okay, well, I'm in control. I can set whatever rate, I can set whatever price, as long as me and him agree. And then, now what I did do was I did do a third-party loan servicing. That way I don't have to deal with all of the transactions and recording and everything like that. So third-party loan servicing, make sure he gets all of the notices. He pay the mortgage directly to the third-party servicer, and then they pay me.
Looking back now, 8 years of experience, what would you have done different?
You know what? Honestly, I don't think I would have done anything different.
How it worked out?
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, I do.
It's made me who I am today. If I changed the way I did my deal then, I wouldn't be here now, Mike. All right, got it. All right. I'm just picking questions off the internet, so let's see where this goes.
That's cool.
Funniest real estate story.
Funniest real estate story. You know what? I don't know if people know how it's really not a real estate story, but it's a real estate story as far as my foundation when it comes to investing. And it was how I learned about investing.
Okay.
So, I think the story. We used to flip piglets.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, flip pigs. So, grew up in a rural area right outside of Chicago, about 60 miles south of Chicago. And during the summer, right, before you go back to school, everybody want to get the fresh gear, fresh new kicks and everything like that. Well, my grandfather, he was old school. My mom, they were old school. They were from the South, and it was like, well, you got to make the money for your school clothes. And growing up on a farm, only thing we knew was go to the auction, you can buy a piglet for $10-15, feed it whatever, right? And then in the next 4 months, by the time August come, you sell it for like $200. So, it was a great investment. $10, feed it slop, whatever you don't eat, and sell it for $200. So,
cool. All right.
Buy low, sell high.
There you go. What'd you feed it?
Dude, everything we didn't eat, so a lot of grass but stuff from our kitchen table.
All right. And I don't think I ever fed a pig before.
Yeah, so we actually was flipping pigs. Me, my brother, cousins, everybody would go, around April, go to the auction, buy the piglet, $10, bring it back, put it in with the other pigs, and then you just constantly fed your pig until it got big. And then you say, all right, take it back to the auction, and sold it.
Money.
Yep.
Would you do it again today?
It was a lot of work, man.
Would you flip pigs today?
No.
All right.
Hell no.
Cool. All right, I'm searching here. All right. What are the top 3 qualities you look for in an investment property? What are some qualities you look for?
Qualities I look for. One is, first thing I'm looking for is the exit strategy, right? Mm-hmm. How am I going to get out of this if things turn south? So I'm looking for 2 exit strategies. Am I going to flip this? If I can't flip it, can I turn it into a rental? If I can't turn it into a rental, can I turn it into a short-term, mid-term rental? Something like that. So that's one quality. The next quality, I'm looking at the bones. Because I do a lot of stuff in the Midwest, I'm really looking for more brick structures versus wood built construction. So that's another thing. And then I'm looking at the ROI. If I do it as a flip, what can I make? As I do it as a rental, what can I make? Can I refinance it out? Stuff like that. And then naturally the area.
Those 3.
Yep. What about you?
Qualities. I like deals, so I'm always looking at price.
Okay.
Right? I like finding cheap deals. We have multiple things going on right now, from mobile home to single family. So I'm never really worried about the product, so I like, that's one quality. Low,
Okay.
low. You know,
Buy deal.
buy deal. That's it.
Okay.
That's what we all should be looking for.
So
deals.
now let me ask you this question, right? So looking back, what wasn't a deal 4 years ago would be a deal now. So do you have any regrets on deals that you didn't do back then because they didn't qualify as a deal?
Well, yeah, due to our environment, especially here in Phoenix. So one idea around that is when 2016, 2017, me and 15, I hired a coach, learned how to raise money, like come up with a plan, a system, and how to get into multifamily. And I went down that route, and I got all the education. I was already a deal finder because we've been, doing this for so long. And then now I was like, shoot, I'll just take this deal finding skill from land, mobiles, condos, single family to multi, and just started doing it right away. However, be careful who do you listen to, right? Because I was listening to the Peter Schiffs, the Robert Kiyosaki's, and they're like, the world's gonna burn.
It's
right?
always gonna burn for them.
You could say the market's gonna crash every single day until the day it happens, and you'll be right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're in this business, 15, 16, 17, I mean, I liked Sunny Slope, and we have property over there, and it's like things were like getting like $50K a door, $60K a door. And I'm just like, whoa, get the hell out! No
too
way.
much.
Just,
right.
So looking back, but then I'm thinking, I already at this time I just got in the multifamily world and raising money. I think we had a 6-plex, a triplex, and a 5-plex, and I'm just like, all right, let's keep this rolling. And it's like, wait. Now I'm starting getting nervous. Prices are going up. The guys are saying it's going to crash. I'm all in this whole doom and gloom world of the people I'm masterminding with, and everyone's in this doom and gloom. So I stopped. Kept wholesaling, buying and selling, maybe a flip here and there. But it's like I stopped getting in that multifamily world.
Multifamily buying, yep.
So looking back, look where we're at now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The triplex we bought for $65,000 is now worth $500,000, right? The 6-plex that we bought for $200,000 is worth $1.2 million now. So imagine if it just kept going. Right?
Yep.
So what do? Right? You just dwell on it, you learn. Once again, if you're listening, we're fresh off another podcast, but like it's just like just buy, hold, and forget about it, man.
Yeah.
Just buy the property, lock in your rate, or lock in whatever it is. If maybe you paid all cash, whatever. Lock it in and forget it. Doesn't matter if the market goes up, it goes down, because as long as you're cash flowing. Because even in the Great Recession, don't quote me on the stats, whatever, but like values dropped like 80%, right? 60 to 80%. But rents dropped 10 to 20%, depending on where you're at in Phoenix or whatever, right? So the rents never really took a hit, even in the worst recession ever. So historically, you could look like that in the future potentially if you want to forecast and say, hey, yeah, we might be buying high right now. It doesn't look like a smoking deal to us right now. Because right now, the deals don't look good.
Right.
Like we're looking at 4-plexes for $700,000-$800,000. You're like, how's that even make sense? And I'll never get in the game, or this is impossible. No, man. If you just buy it, and you can cash flow, right? Get a low rate, or get a partner and buy it cash, whatever it is. Get creative and just forget about it. Maintain it. Keep it in good condition. Take care of your tenants. Be a good landlord. You will thrive over time.
So I was listening to John Hope Bryant. He's an investor in L.A. So he's the largest minority African American investor in single families. He owned like 800 single families across the country. And one of the things that he said is the real estate market is always forgiving, right? You can make a mistake, the worst mistake, and the market will always forgive you for that mistake that you made. So he was saying, during the crash, that he was buying and buying and buying and buying, and everybody was like, "You're crazy, everybody's saying that the market is going to crash, and then the market did crash. And those same people were like, "You stupid, we told you," everything like that. He said, "But my goal is to buy and basically never sell. I'm holding for the long term." And now he held all of those properties, and Hollywood, Central LA, all of that kind of stuff. Now those houses are 2.3 million, 3 million, everything like that. And he was buying them, for 250 grand, 300 grand. He was like, so no matter what the market looks like, if you have a long-term plan and you're buying as an investment, not as a fix and flipper, not as a wholesaler, but as a true investor, you will always see the benefits of holding that property. So that's one of my things is, yes, do wholesale. Yes, I do fix and flips. But my main thing is to buy and really never sell.
Yeah. And so you got to look at the future now. Same thing, right? Yeah. Like you said, that gentleman, held it forever. Mm-hmm. Look at LA. And if you want to kind of like forecast, look at Phoenix, right? Like we are the fifth largest city.
Yeah.
We have a strong job growth, strong population growth. Those are like key indicators for a good market. Mm-hmm. And we're on just the future plans. We always joke around and say if you had insider information in the stock market, it's illegal. But Phoenix, or your local city, it's all public record. You can see what they're building. Just the Taiwanese plant right now, that's one. They just added like another few billion to their growth and expanded the growth of the project that they're currently doing. Then just a couple weeks ago, a Wall Street company bought 2,400 acres around the plant.
I saw that.
Come on, man. Path of progress. My old mentor used to say, follow the sewer lines. So, hey, if you can go lock up a piece of land up northwest Phoenix, around there somewhere, there's probably going to be other freeways. There's be other desert ridge type places. If you can go get an option on something or just get something dirt cheap.
Yeah, because I remember, Phoenix definitely has a lot of progress. Because I remember when I first moved here
Think of that.
12 years ago. It was, the 202 wasn't finished. And I'm talking about 202 East, not even the 202 South Mountain that they just finished,
I don't think I drove
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then you got the 303 that they just did, just opened up, and all of the development and industry that's coming on out there. So there's tons of opportunity here. And if you say, hey, you know what, I don't have the money to be in the Phoenix market, guess what? You just got to get out there and start looking who you can partner with and say, hey, you know what can I do to help bring deals to the table, or what can I do so I can get my foot into this real estate?
But there's no water, Marcus.
What you mean there's no water? There's plenty of water.
So, we won't go down. I think it was Mark Lewis coming out here a few months ago to talk about the water. So there's water here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not a water guy, but look him up. Or if you want his presentation, we probably have it recorded for you. Just that's what we're here for, is to bring you this type of information. So don't, if your neighbor, your friends and family are saying don't buy, or hey, there's no water, or whatever it may be, do they own houses?
And you know what I look at, Mike, when people say there's no water, or when they talk doom and gloom about these major metros, right? Because I hear it a lot about Chicago, right? There's a mass exodus, yada, 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 all of that. Yes, there are people leaving, but guess what? It's still the third largest metro in the U.S. Phoenix is still the fifth largest metro in the U.S. You think the government is going to let these cities fail and crash? Absolutely not. So if it's a water problem, guess what? We're going to figure it out. Yeah. Just like we, quote unquote, figured out the pandemic and came up with a freaking, what was it?
What? I don't even know where you're going. Zoom?
No, they came up with the freaking, Pfizer and all of them came up with the...
vaccination?
Yeah, vaccine, right?
Now we can't post this podcast because we said vaccination.
But we are resilient people. We're a resilient country. We figure out problems and we get it done.
All right, I like it. So where else can we go with this? I like kind of where it's going, but I'm looking for other questions here to kind of... I don't like that one. Come on, it's dead air, Marcus. You got.
So if you was to start as a real estate estate investor right now in Phoenix, in this elevated market, in this market, what would you do?
So as
what you know now,
Oh.
right, with the market conditions here in Phoenix, what would you do as a beginning real estate investor?
Raise money.
Raise money.
Go get the money.
Okay.
So you need money to buy real estate. Doesn't have to be your money.
But I can't do it, Mike. I'm a novice. I'm new. I never raised money. I never done a deal. How can I go out and raise money? Who should I talk to about raising money?
So that's why train your brain to see money.
Yep.
All right. So that's why we hold Cash Flow 101 board game. The money's right around you. It's friends, it's family, it's coworkers, especially if you're an engineer, you're a high income earner, you got a really good job, whatever it is, right? The people around you they know they need something better. They know the job isn't cutting it. They're struggling, maybe not struggling, but they want a better life. They want more time with their family or whatever it is, just like you do. So we break every deal down into knowledge of time and money and credit. So you need to be the person that's the expert that knows how to find a house, evaluate it, and have it make money. So how do you find a rental property? How do you maintain it, buy it, and have it cash flow? So if you could figure that out at some talking rentals, and then that's your expertise, right? And then when you start talking about that with your friends, family, coworkers, what have you been doing? Oh, I go to the local real estate. I go to AZREIA, and I've been taking classes, been hanging out with investors. People find that appealing because they watch HGTV and they watch all this stuff. Real estate's like sexy to people, right? So, and they know they need to be in it. Everyone's got their money tied up in stocks or whatever it is. They're just trusting what their job says to do, with their 401k. And if you can bring this other revenue stream or other tool to the table, people want to be a part of that. So if you let them know what you're doing, right, and they see that you've been consistent with it, you've been going to the meetings for 6 months, you're going here, you invite them, you share the Rich Dad Poor Dad book with them. Now you're becoming their expert, right? So what happens is people start wanting to say, hey, can I be involved? Can I do that with you? Or how do I do it? You're gonna start getting these types of questions. Then you're like, okay, but I'm new, I don't know. Well, that's what like Marcus is for, myself, or anyone in your real estate investing community. They can be your partner, someone you trust, you like. Say, hey, can we do a deal together, right? Hey, if I was able to raise a couple $100,000 or whatever it may be and bring it to the table, can we partner, right? Just leverage other people's experience in some way, or maybe you hire a coach or a mentor to walk you through the process. So the next part of another thing people say about that is, hey, but I don't have a deal right now. I don't have one yet. Well, all I would do is just say, we help you build your investor identity at the launch pad, right? Or through the core skills program. So through the basic trainings, you start to find out who you are as an investor. So once you say, hey, I like single family properties, I want to be in, West Valley by the stadium, Northwest, Arrowhead, wherever it may be. Now, and I like single family houses that are built around 2000. They're going to rent out at $2,300 a month, whatever it is. You create your identity as who you are, and then you tell these people that you're speaking with, hey, yeah, I don't have one right now, but when I do, here's what it's going to look like. It's going to be this. It's going to be in this neighborhood, and we're going to buy it for this price, and we're going to be able to pay you X amount of money for letting us borrow the money. You're going to be secured by first lien position. So they're also protected by, depending on how you partner up with the people with the money. There's multiple ways. But anyways, that's how you do it. And yeah, right. I'm saying it like, oh, that's how you do it, right? But like, my first $50,000 I raised, I didn't have a suit, I didn't have a presentation, a slideshow. It was based on the referral of the person that told me to talk to this person, and you'll hear that in my stories at the classes. But they said, when do you need the money, and how much do you need, and what am I getting back?
That easy.
It was a half-hour conversation. It was years ago, but it was $50,000, and I was like, whoa! Like, it debunked all myths that you think that's out there.
That's what happened with me when I first raised private capital. Right, I was wholesaling. Right, 2 times I came across a sweet deal, and I was like, okay, you know what? I can wholesale this thing and make $30,000. Right, or let me take my traditional lens off, because I was just a wholesaler at the time. And I was like, well, what would I need in order to fix and flip this property? Because the margins were too good. And one of the attorneys that I was working with, he would always close all of my transactions. And I just gave him a call. I said, like, hey, you know what? I got this sweet deal. He haven't even seen it yet. I haven't even sent him the contract yet. I said, I got this sweet deal. It's so sweet. I guarantee you're going to want to invest in this one with me. And he was like, it better be a freaking smoking hot deal. I said, check your email right now. Look at the contract and look at the numbers I bought this deal for.
Nice.
And he was just like, how much you need?
Yeah. The deal, so people invest in your character.
Yeah.
That's key, right?
Yep.
So if you're just don't do things right, people know. So invest in your character, and they'd like to see the deal. This guy didn't even break down the deal. So you're an attorney guy. He may have been more savvy than most, right? He's a closing attorney.
Yep.
But yeah, if you have a sweet deal, and that's the next part that we would talk about, though, is like, hey, who you getting in bed with kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Like, obviously he's your attorney. You guys have been working together. You closed a bunch of deals, so you knew who he was, how he operates. That's another thing, just FYI, to be careful about. Just because someone wants to give you the money, that don't mean they're the best partner, because some people want lumps of cash and some people want streams of cash.
True.
So, right, he's got to just be careful. And are they even in the position to be giving away that, not giving away, but loaning out money?
That was good what you just said right there, Mike, is some people want lumps of cash, some people want streams of cash.
Yep.
Right? And if you want streams and they want lumps, that partnership won't work out.
Yep. And that was part of the goal, right? When I was building my list of investors, it's like, all right, if these people want aggressive money and fast cash and lumps, they're on this list. If this group wants streams and steady retirement money, they go on this list. So as you become experienced, your top of the funnel starts getting different deals, and you could start moving and shaking. But to keep it to the basics, right, you're going to find out, hey, I'm an investor identity. This is who I am, a landlord. So you just won't deal with the lumps of cash lenders.
Right.
But it also made me think about what you're saying about your story is, hey, I could have made $30,000, but it was a smoking deal and I wanted to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tough part, right? Especially when you're new in the business. You're like, I just need some income. I need to wholesale some deals, flip some deals, stack my cash, get my money right. Maybe start doing rentals. You really want to be at rentals. All of us do.
Right.
But saying no.
Yeah, I know.
Saying no to 30,000
Yep.
and the big chunks of cash is hard. So yeah, that's
you
a
know
tough
what was the hardest part about that decision for me was it was like I could take the 30 grand because I always think from the flipping pigs concept, I can always take this 30 grand, reinvest it in marketing, and then that 30 grand can spin off probably 10 more deals.
Yeah.
Right? So I was thinking, okay, I can turn this 30 grand into probably 200 grand on the next 6 to 8 months, or forsake the 30 grand and then do this. So in that instance, I forsook the 30 grand because I wasn't looking for the big lump right then. I was looking for a big lump a little later. We did the flip, and then that 30 grand that I sacrificed ended up making me 150 grand. So still 2 lumps of cash. And the reason why I say that is because at the time I needed the marketing money, right? Because you can't get deals if you're not out there trying to, rustle up the leaves and try and find deals. So it's like, take the 30 grand, continue my direct mail marketing, or my, at the time I was cold calling, continue the cold calling and get more deals. So I'm glad I sacrificed the deal.
Yep.
And it also solidified my relationship with my attorney. And then he started referring more of his attorney buddies and other people that he knew.
Yeah, so if you have a job, you don't have to quit. Right.
Yes. I advise you don't quit.
Yeah, I love burning the boats and all that. But like we're once again referencing another podcast, it's actually the easiest way for you to get into buy and hold is leveraging your job. So go for that. And kind of go into like, hey, I don't want to do. It's hard to part with the 30,000 profits up front. So to kind of give you some idea why, talk about time again, right? It always leads back to consistency and time. I bought a property in Shea and 51 for 90 grand. Sold it for 180, right? Because I thought the market was going up. I was like, boom, and I still sold at 180. I did well. Should have kept it.
Yep.
But whatever, I sold it, right? And now look, so even though I bought it, held it, time went by and it appreciated crazy, Still sold it, but I should have kept it. And now
'Cause
looking
it-
back again,
yeah,
so it
appreciate
shows
it
you
even more. Yep.
just the longer and longer. Just right now, guaranteed. We're talking about locking in interest rates. Like that would have been, where was I? I think I was like at a 5 or a 6, but it was on 90,000. My mortgage payment was probably like $700-800, if
Yeah.
that. And right now, that's a $2,500 neighborhood. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have had the equity, and you would have had the cash flow,
Yep.
and you could even, like, in emergencies or future investments, you could tap into that
Yep.
equity to
Get you a line
keep
of
moving
credit.
the money.
Yep.
So holding, is key, man. Like,
Yeah.
so this type of experience, AZREIA's been around for 22 years. We're not selling solar next week. We're not selling, pools or anything, switching up our story.
Cars or anything like that.
Leverage the experience, leverage the resources of the members, of the staff, of the subgroup leaders, of the business associates that have been around for 5, 10, 20 years, that have been in the business, and they'll just drop these type of nuggets from their own experience to you for free for being a member. Amazing.
One of the things that I would tell people, Mike, kind of looking back and even going forward, right? Because I'm making a shift and a pivot. One of the things that I would advise you guys that's listening, if you're making that shift or pivot, or you looking to get started in the real estate, this is one thing this is kind of going to be very, very unpopular, but I would say get off social media for a while. And the reason being is because, there's so many distractions.
True.
Right? So if my goal is I want to buy houses, I want to be a landlord, right? Get the foundational principles of being a landlord. Tap into maybe 1 or 2 people, that you relate with on social media about landlording and everything like that, and block out everybody else that's talking about fixing and flipping, wholesaling, vacation rentals, all of that kind of stuff. Because what happens is it just becomes distractions and it becomes noise. One of the things that I was talking to my cousin a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, you know what, man? Because he was actually in real estate before me. And he was like, man, you know what? I stopped real estate because I started listening to the noise.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, what do you mean listening to the noise? He was like, I was listening to everybody around me. I was listening to what the pundits were saying on CNBC, and I was listening to, what the pundits were saying on Fox Business and everything like that, and I just stopped. He was like, I became so confused in what to do to where I just stopped. So just tell you guys, sometimes you got to block out that stuff, get off of social media, and focus in. Now, still listen to the podcast, still follow AZREIA, everything like that.
Yeah. So how about this? I'll disagree with you.
Okay.
And we'll wrap it up to we're all kumbaya by the campfire. So, yes, 100% agree with what you said. However, when it comes to social media, you have to be getting the attention. Like, meaning, right, if you want to raise money, you want deals, you got to be marketing yourself, because if you're not marketing, your business dies. And right now, this is television, this is radio, right? It's in our face. Like, everyone's on their thing going, like, swiping all day long.
Yep.
If you could just pop in that swipe and let them get some branding in there, it's huge. So there's a difference. Creation versus consumption. So I would say create and post, but don't consume.
Okay.
There you go. You get what I'm saying?
Yep,
Like
gotcha.
don't. So yes, I do see people go, hey man, I need a break from social media. Hey man, I'm not hating. You need a break. If it's bad for you and you don't feel good, you just got to do it. However, you can still create a video, look at yourself, say something good for wherever you're trying to get into, post it, and there you go.
That's a good point, right? That's a very good point, and I should have been clear on that, right?
You don't have to correct yourself, Marcus.
No, I like what you're saying. Create versus consumption is very, very key.
That's all I'm saying.
Very key.
Yeah. And I was telling my son that because I was watching my son. He's like, I want to do some real estate. I want to make some money this summer, this and that. I'm like, come to the office, right? Come on through, man, right? I got stuff for you to do. And, kids are just like, hanging out, what? On their phone. I'm just like, man, like, you could be a creator, you could be a consumer, man.
Yep.
Like, It's either or. So
And that's the way it is in real estate, right? As a real estate investor, you either creating opportunities, by fixing and flipping, wholesaling, being a landlord, multifamily, stuff like that, or you're a consumer, you're a tenant.
Yep.
So
much.
So
that's a whole nother topic. We go down for days, but we're at 40 minutes or so. So let's wrap it up with
create
that.
versus consumption.
Yeah, man. Go out there and create your life rather consuming others.
There you go.
Kardashians and all the whatever you watch.
Right.
It's a little fun sometimes, though. But anyway,
this was good, Mike.
Yeah,
I like
was
this.
Good.
It was a wholesome approach.
Yeah.
Nothing scripted. No, we just
went off.
We actually just had these conversations quite often. We just don't record them. So.
Yep, that's true. So that's a wrap for the AZREIA show. So as always, check out our calendar of events. We have about 10 to 15 events a month on all areas of real estate investing. So get to know the people, build your relationships. Business is all relationships. Tap into our resources, our business associates, our subgroup leaders. From there, we have educational workshops, training classes that you could jump into, get your education, and also higher level trainings from for fix and flip, like with Tracy Royce, and self-management with Greg Slaughter, and all these different types of
Deal
educators.
Finders Club.
That's right.
Come on,
Me
man.
and Marcus, Deal Finders Club. We'll teach you how to wholesale. We've been doing that for 3 years. We have hundreds of members, and we'll show you how to get into the wholesale game, which we have to pick our next step-by-step wholesale class, which I think we should do very soon here.
Yep.
So yeah, we got a lot going on. Anything you need in real estate investing, we are here. Any last words, Marcus, on your end?
No, just remember that AZREIA is all about empowering investors one property at a time.
Let's get it. That's all you need. One property at a time.
Okay?
Fast or slow as you want. It's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to the AZREIA Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Delpreet. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to AZREIA.org and learn more about our community.